I'll take things that make no sense for $1,000, Alex. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. As I mentioned in my community post, as soon as Daniel's live was over, I was going to try to be getting some sort of reaction out there. I feel like this entire Linda Lane thing is nothing but a bunch of chaos that didn't really make a lot of sense to me. I also felt as if some of the audio was manipulated. I just don't know where the manipulation actually came from. And I mentioned in my videos about this that whenever I started hearing similar frequencies to other audios that we had already debunked as being irrelevant or completely fake, when I heard those frequencies and sounds in this audio, it rubbed me completely wrong. And then whenever the blood-curdling scream happened at 1:56 a.m., which is exactly the timestamp that Olivia, Kaylee's sister, has given us for the actual time that Kaylee and Maddie got home that night, I was done. As soon as I heard that, I knew right then and there that something was wrong with it. Now, in this interview, I'm telling you, Daniel really did try to get answers from this Claire lady. But as usual, and per the way that this entire group of people have been behaving this entire time, everything was danced around and nothing at all was actually answered. Now, some of you may know that I've already been in the middle of this stupid drama, and the only reason why I'm in the middle of it is because I get told things that a lot of people don't think that I get told, because people trust my judgment. So whenever people bring things to me and I tell them how I feel about it, they start really thinking about things, and whenever it turns out that I'm right, that's a problem. Because if I have serious issues with something and you start seeing the patterns that you're seeing, and now you're questioning things, and now there's suddenly chaos going around because all of a sudden the little narrative isn't being followed anymore because questions are starting to get asked, that's a problem. People that release things to the internet are giving it free range for public opinion. And while yes, people want to sit there and claim that no one has to tell anybody anything, this isn't about these people. This is about the 4 victims and another person that could possibly be losing their lives if they are actually in jail for something that they didn't do. And then also, on top of that, you have to think about it on the opposite end. Tampering with an open investigation to this degree of insanity, okay, especially with the rumors going around that the Gonsalves family might be part of some of this, which is also verified again in this little interview that Daniel did with Claire Mack. Okay, the insinuation of Steve being involved in this has been part of the conversation since before the footage was ever made public. And that's via the conversations that Sleuthy was having with this Amber girl who apparently bought the footage from Kane. Now, nothing in this interview surprised me. I mean, that's a lie. There's some things that came out in this interview that surprised me, especially if they're true, of course, if they're true. But I knew for a fact that nothing was going to be clarified. These people jumped into Dago's live whenever we were discussing the email between Kane and Crime Sleuthin, where Kane tells her that the footage was nefariously taken from them. That he allowed a female to view the footage in a portal, but never gave them the approval to take copies or do anything with it themselves. Then we had a snippet that was going around that I was tagged in Twitter that was supposed to be between someone named Alyssa, which is actually a name that I've heard in the little group of TikTokers that are involved in some of this fuel that's dousing all of this chaos here recently. And this was supposed to be from the property manager, so not Kane the owner, but the property manager, and that person, no one is giving the name for who that person might be, and technically it's not even verified that this little snippet came from the property manager, but it also alludes to the fact that the footage was not given away or sold, and that it was actually, in fact, taken from them. So, not only do we have the apartment owner now claiming that the footage was taken from them nefariously and it wasn't sold nor given away, but then we also have in the conversations between Sleuthy and the Amber woman, who's the one responsible for buying it and starting all of this crap to begin with, that it was stolen from her. that someone from outside of the U.S. had it and then it got leaked and all this crazy stuff. Okay, well, the person from outside of the U.S. has got to be this Claire lady because she's from Scotland. Okay, but the problem that I have with that being the blame being put on the Claire lady is because apparently, and you guys can go back to Dago's live, I believe it was, what is today, Friday? I believe it was yesterday on Thursday whenever we had all this conversation. Sleuthy, after she released her conversation between Amber and herself, all the other creators that this Amber woman reached out to started having conversations with Sleuthy. And apparently all of this, I'm scared for my life, and don't tell anybody that you have it, and please don't release this on the internet. All of that crap and crying that she was doing with Sleuthy wasn't in any of the conversations between Amber and these other creators. And that's now been said publicly. And so far, everything in this situation that Sleuthy has stated has been factually proven. Okay? So if she's sitting here telling us that she's the only one that Amber was wham-wham to, that's a problem to me. Because why are you not given the same exact, like, freak out and being scared kind of persona to literally all the rest of the people that you're contacting? Well, Claire even claims in this interview with Daniel that several people had their hands on it before it even got to her. Now, I don't know who Claire is, or why, for some reason whatsoever, this Amber woman would reach out to her all the way over in Scotland. But she claims that she didn't even know who Amber was. That she got a random ass email from this girl saying, hey, we have this Linda Lane footage, and wanting the Claire lady from Scotland to put it out there. Okay, so this same Amber person is begging Sleuthy not to tell anybody about it, not to put it out online. But now Claire is claiming that she was approached by a rando that she didn't even know and was asked to put it out online. Those are two different stories. So this Amber person is literally the one playing everybody. And Claire wants to sit here and act as if Amber didn't have any bad intentions. Okay, well, home chick, what was your intention of buying it in the first place? Because that's the intention that we have yet to find out. Now, Claire is claiming, and this matches what Sleuthy is claiming, that there was something in the footage that Amber heard that she wanted out there in the public. But this woman is literally, like, delusional. I'm sorry, but not sorry, and I don't care if she listens to this, which I'm sure that she will, because not now, for some reason, because I'm asking questions and wanting things clarified, I'm the bad guy and I'm the bully, and that's fine. I don't care. I'll be the bully. These people have been playing games and not answering any questions and dancing around everything forever. They would not come on the live with Dago yesterday. We waited for like an hour and a half. These people are claiming that they know how to upload footage and know how to make enhancements on all these things for audio and video and blah, blah, blah. But she suddenly couldn't click the link to get into StreamYard. The Gordon guy who's been hiding behind Alf has been dropping all kind of chats but still not answering anything clearly for weeks now. We're fed up. I don't have to be nice to people that just keep playing games with me. I'm asking questions directly to them. I'm asking questions directly about something that they're involved in. At this point, I'm going to take it personal because you're playing games with me. I'm asking questions. I want things to be answered because this is not a game. This is a real life situation, and I'm so sick and tired of all of the stupid high school crap. There's no reason for this footage to be put out, and let me explain to you why. This was literally all for nothing. We have literally been hoaxed again, and that's just the truth. Carly Russell just blew one over on us, and now this Linda Lane footage is complete shit, and this is why. The Amber girl claims that at 1:31 a.m. is whenever she hears all these things about Xana screaming about somebody named Charlie and the let me to live and all that weird crap that doesn't make any sense. There is no way in hell at 1:31 there was a situation that went down whenever at 1:56 is whenever the girls got home and Olivia watched it all happen. They would not be allowing the timeline of the time of death to be incorrect if they were so adamant about the time that the girls got home be corrected, even though it was only off by a few minutes. Okay? There's no way that by now something would not have been said. And we already have issues with the timeline, okay? Most people believe that it was more around the Banfield time, okay? And a lot of people believe that it's still between that 4 and 4:25 a.m. I don't know, honestly, because there's a lot of issues with the coroner and the way that things were done that day and the time that she got to the crime scene, and if the doors were really open and if the heater was on or if it wasn't on. And there's so many different things that can attribute to the problems whenever it comes to actually being able to clarify a time of death, which is why so many other things like digital data and the like has to be now brought into the entire scenario, because there's so many different factors in this situation, and there's so many different factors surrounding 4 different victims. This case is ridiculous, and it did not deserve any of this additional stupid drama. It just didn't. So as far as I'm concerned, this Amber woman played everyone. She cried and booed-ayed to Sleuthy, and she didn't cry and booed-ay to anybody else. She's not being forthcoming about what her intentions actually were in the first place. Because if you're going to sit here and try to tell everyone that there's a timestamp of you hearing something, and that's the reason you want it out, okay, but if you felt the need to go and pay $1,000 for it, then what was your reasoning behind dishing out that $1,000 if that's the case? And then, of course, people are questioning, okay, well, now Kane is saying that it's stolen. Well, of course he is. Of course he is. Because if he actually paid $1,000 for it and now this shit's getting leaked and everyone knows that he's the owner of the Linda Lane footage that's going around, I'm sure a lot of people are asking a lot of damn questions that he's just not comfortable with giving any answers to either. So of course he would be wanting to cover his ass if he actually sold it, especially for $1,000. Like, are you serious right now? That is so low. That is such a disgrace. That's $250 per victim that he just caused all this chaos in this for, because he just had to be shady, and he couldn't have just let the cops be the only ones that had the footage. He had to go and sell it to somebody who still is unknown and whose intention is still completely unknown. Now, see, people want to act like this is just drama, but this is stupid. And my job is that I have given myself here on this platform is to try to debunk the bullshit, clean up the area a little. And it's rubbing people the wrong way, which of course I knew that it would. I'm not a people pleaser. I have my own thoughts and opinions, and I feel like I am a very moral and ethical person. I just have a really, 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 really low tolerance for bullshit. And I am not afraid to be opinionated about it. People have tried to keep me quiet and shut me and my opinions out for a long time, but it's because I'm usually right. And that's not me trying to be conceited. I know my life. Okay, I know the things that I have gone through. I know the things that I have seen. I know the signs that I have seen that I have predicted correctly. I know the vibes that I get from people, and I know the percentage of times that those vibes have led me right and wrong. Something about this was wrong from the beginning and has now spiraled into a complete avalanche of the biggest pile of bullshit that I probably have ever seen in a modern day crime case. The intention for this even being bought and sold still isn't known. Whoever Amber really is still isn't known. That little group of TikTokers is acting like whenever we realize who it was that really leaked it, we're going to be so ashamed and embarrassed, while on top of that, the conversations about Kaylee's family being involved in the leak are being entertained. Which leads anyone with a logical common sense brain to think that if we're going to be ashamed for talking shit about the footage, it could only be because the family are going to be the ones involved in it, and that's going to make us feel bad. Of course, that's just their opinion, because I do beg to differ on that situation. But I don't really know exactly what that is supposed to mean about we're going to be shocked and embarrassed when the truth about who leaked it came out. Well, apparently Claire is the one who leaked it. The problem is, who is Amber, and why did she feel the need to go and buy this footage to begin with? That's really the only question left that needs to be answered. She doesn't have to show her face. I don't really care to know her real identity. I just want to know the reason. But then again, of course, I feel like if this is real information that the cops have, then maybe there does need to be some sort of punishment for interfering in a case. Now, something that I do want to leave you guys with is a very extremely interesting detail if it is true. Now, I'm going to go through a list of times and dates, and then I'm going to drop a little bit of a bomb, at least what I feel might be a bomb. Let me just go ahead and get started with this because I'm going to let my brain start thinking, and then I'm going to be quiet for too long and I'm going to get where I'm at. And so here we go. According to a screenshot of the email that Kane sent to Amber with the information about how the footage was labeled for how she was going to be viewing it in the file folder that was given to her in the Google Drive transaction, the dates of 11/12 of 22 at 23:16, so 11:16 p.m. through 11/13/22 at 6:59 a.m. is one of the main cameras, not the one that we are seeing though. Not the one that we are seeing. That is the one that I believe is the dumpster footage, because this is supposed to be at like Taylor. The Linda Lane parking lot is from 11:59 p.m. on 11/12/22 through 11/13/22 at 6:59 a.m. So they both end at around 7 a.m. and start around midnight, it seems like. Well, the other one looks like it starts at 11:16. Okay, anyway. Then he goes on to state that the police came in and took from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. because that's all that was requested. But whenever Kane took out footage to give to the cops, he actually took out a broader span of hours that was given over to them, or that he intended to give over to them, but that he ended up just giving them virtual access to his entire portal that had all of his security footage, and that it apparently went back for 30 days. So they had the capability of going in and technically seeing for a month prior if that same car was coming in and out of that area. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume that this is most likely the footage, or at least the sets of footage, that were definitely part of that 51 terabytes and had to have been where they got the information for him being in the area at least a dozen times prior to this. Now, the one thing that came out of this that I'm telling you now is extremely sketch to me is that in this email, Kane states that there is a 30-minute gap in all of the footage between 3:30 a.m. and 4 a.m., which is whenever the nightly Wi-Fi reset happens. I'm sorry, what was that? So we had an entire situation come out in the beginning of this case claiming that there was some sort of Wi-Fi down situation. But we were told, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe I was told from like 11 p.m. until like 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was like a University of Idaho related Wi-Fi down incident, and there was a lot of questions on if that incident would have affected King Road because it's off-campus housing, and I'm pretty sure they had their own internet bill. I mean, that's what would make sense there because you're renting a room. It's not like it's actually Greek Road, Greek housing on the university campus. It's completely separate. But this might actually be the internet down situation that would actually affect this. Now, it wouldn't obviously affect the internet at King Road, but is it not interesting that that time gap is whenever the Wi-Fi resets to where there's 30 minutes of footage just gone? That's really, really, really close to the timeline. And it's also literally like the time that he gets into the neighborhood for the first time. Because he's in Indian Hills, or let me just rephrase. The car is apparently in the Indian Hills area of Moscow, however you say it, at 3:27 a.m. And from 3:30 to 4 o'clock, the footage just goes away because of a Wi-Fi reset. Is that something Brian Koberger would have known to be able to use as a cover? Or is this just another one of those really, really strange coincidences that don't have anything to do with anything but just look real crazy? Because seriously, this seems to be all that this case is made out of. But yeah, those are all of the things that I got from this interview. I really do feel like Daniel tried. She kept dropping out internet-wise and dancing around everything that he asked. And I feel like he was asking the right questions. She was just refusing to give the answers. which again is something that they've done this entire time, because like I've already mentioned, we had this whole situation happen with Dago's live yesterday. Then I find out that they're on Reddit and they're talking about me and him on Reddit, even though they refused for over an hour to get on the panel and kept giving us all these excuses about why they couldn't come up. Kept telling us, okay, I'm coming, and then they wouldn't show up. Well, instead of, being adults and jumping up there and giving us answers, they go to Reddit, where we aren't at, and start talking crap about us, not expecting us to see it. Well, I was told about it. I was emailed about it because, I got people too. So then I went and found it, and then I responded to it. And then I got an email claiming that the moderator of that group muted me. So they didn't even want to answer me back on their own platform. So they were too uncomfortable to do it on YouTube, so then I bring it to where they're in their home field and they still refuse to answer the question. Yeah. See, these are the kind of childish, immature, cowardish games that I just don't appreciate. I'm too old for this, and I don't appreciate all of the drama that it's causing in a case that is uncalled for. There is too much already going on here. And for people to just want to throw chaos out there for no actual reason, something that happened at 1:31 a.m. on a camera that's 220 feet away that is impossible for you to have heard, that has nothing to do with anything, is why this got started. I hope all of the creators out there realize how many hours that you guys spent literally freaking out and trying to see things in this footage that just weren't there because it was released over something that didn't exist. Yeah. Well played, Miss Amber. Well played.